Ingen grinde vere, og en bond var pørtjer, han åtter sei. Og det var seier som skulle lempa. Han atla seg affæra og drepa seien for at folk ikke kunne få et. Og han var kommet vi seien og i rattena. Da ropte jeg grunda på, og alle seien slapp ut. Seien er lampe på uten.
The Faroe Islands, a wild and sparsely populated archipelago made up of 18 islands sitting at the mercy of the North Sea, 200 miles north of the United Kingdom. Despite being an autonomous territory of the Kingdom of Denmark, it is self-governing in every sense of the phrase. Here in this wind-whipped land, the sheep outnumber the locals by 20,000, and undersea tunnels connect population centres. However, for all its steep beauty of dramatic fjords and crashing cliffs, the real attention is often drawn to its beaches, where deeply entrenched tradition takes centre stage. Here the locals call it Grindadráp, in English, whaling. To explain more, Torin Arupini is a museum educator at the National Museum of the Faroe Islands.
The oldest records that we have are from 1584, but archaeologists, they say that it probably dates all the way back to what we call landnam, when the Norwegian settlers come to the islands. We don't go out to find whales. We see whales from land, and then we go out after them. It's not a yearly hunt or something, which some suggest.
When whales are sighted, it is the men in the village with boats who will encircle the approaching whales and then drift them towards shore until they beach themselves. Johan Petter is a boat maker in the village of Sand and one of the lead participants in the Grindadráp.
My role is I'm going out with my boat, and we drift the whales onto the beach. And after that, I am asked by the authority to measure the whales before the authority has to deal all the meat.
The whale meat harvested from the kill is equally divided up between every household in the village. The animals are measured in what is known as a shin, on a scale between 1 and 20, where a shin weighs 50 kilograms of meat and 25 kilograms of blubber. A large pod would often feed a village for weeks.
It's a very good food, and it's also a tradition, and we like it a lot here. I like it fresh with blubber, with some mustard.
One of the largest disputes in the whaling argument concerns how the whales are killed. This has advanced down the years, as Torin explains.
This is the old hook that was in use. It's illegal today, thanks to Greenpeace, for example. But this can be used in emergencies. But in the old days, we would use this one. You would crack it into the whale, just somewhere, and then you would drag it on shore. And then you would take your knife, but you would lay one hand behind the blowhole, and then you would cut all the way down to the spine. A few seconds, and then the whale breaks its own neck. That's what we used to do. After some discussions back and forth, we have come up with another hook, the blowhole hook. And this has a dull point, so it can only enter one place, and that's in the blowhole. You put this in the blowhole, and then you would pull the whale ashore. And then you would, instead of the knife, we would use another instrument called a spinal lance. And it's a lance. You would put it in the same place where would you put the knife, and then you would just. And the benefit with this one is that even if the whale becomes a lot bigger, this one just goes down to the spine.
Activists say that it is this treatment of the whales which is inhumane and causes major emotional stress to the animals from the moment they're encircled to the piercing of the spinal lance. Inja Sorensen is one of the few outspoken anti-whaling Faroese figures on the islands.
They try to defend it, and they say it's better now than it was. There's no way they can defend it, because it's a torture. It's an endless torture. The way they drive them, maybe for hours, and it never goes by the book. Never. It's absolutely unacceptable in 2024.
On average, just under 700 pilot whales have been killed annually since the year 2000. However, the species conservation status is considered least concerned, with one study suggesting the presence of around 800,000 long-finned pilot whales in the North Atlantic. Next time, we'll delve deeper into the animal rights arguments and social issues that continue to fuel this conversation.